Being the main character of the series, Samus has acquired a multitude of titles. Her nicknames vary greatly in their connotative implications depending on who gave her the nickname in question. To the space pirates, she's the Hunter clad in metal, or the Hunter for short, the latter of which is Samus's most well-known nickname. The name reflects the pirates' fear of Samus after she dunked on their fortress planet and their leaders. In contrast, the Talon 4 Chozo, who knew of her only by prophetic visions, dubbed Samus the Entrusted One, showing their faith in Samus to fulfill their visions and drive the Phazon plaguing their home away. Samus had 3 other nicknames from Prime: the Defender, the Hatchling, and the Newborn. However, those 3 were only present in the North American version, so those have since been retconned. Meanwhile, in the Samus and Joey manga, some galactic citizens take to calling her the Guardian of the Galaxy. Sounds familiar. Anyways, this name is actually a deviation from her old title of Protector of the Galaxy, which comes from the Super Metroid comics. Of course, only the former of these titles remains canon to the franchise, but it's interesting to see that the creator of the manga took inspiration from the older, more obscure works in the series nonetheless. The title is indicative of the average person's view of Samus, as even though most don't know much about her, they have heard of her legendary missions, most especially her assault of Zebes in Zero Mission. This name could have been used to describe Samus earlier in the series, chronologically speaking of course, given that Samus was renowned even before her Zero Mission for completing missions once thought impossible, but Samus and Joey is the only place where this nickname is known to be used. The last few titles Samus has garnered are given to her by some of her peers. The most frequent and recognized of these nicknames is Lady, which is what her former commanding officer, Adam Malkovich, affectionately refers to her as, often before sending her off to whatever mission or tasks she's being assigned to. The nickname has appeared in key moments, like the plot twist of Metroid Fusion, Adam's sacrifice in Other M, and as a hint to one of Dread's plot twists. It's said that Adam calls her Lady as an acknowledgement of her tragic past, used in a dignified manner. While Adam refers to Samus as Lady, Anthony Higgs, another former squad mate of hers, refers to her as Princess. The reason he calls her this isn't directly specified the way Adam's nickname for Samus is, though I suspect that it's just his own version of Adam's nickname for her, with the same intended effect. That can't be confirmed though, since it's not exactly known if Anthony is aware of her past, but either way the nickname definitely has a more casual vibe to it. Possibly the least formal of Samus's nicknames comes from Gandrada, who simply refers to her as Sammy, which just reflects Gandrada's more aloof and nonchalant personality. While some of Samus's nicknames are from other sources, I imagine most of you have noticed that most of Samus's nicknames come from the Prime subseries. Trust me, that pattern will only continue and exasperate throughout the rest of the broadcast. Just speaking on Samus herself though, she's got many nicknames over the years. In all, between the Hunter clad in metal, the Entrusted One, Guardian of the Galaxy, Lady, Princess, and Sammy, Samus stands at a substantial 7 canon nicknames, along with 4 more decanonized nicknames in the Defender, the Hatchling, the Newborn, and Protector of the Galaxy. Not too shabby for the leading lady. Taking the silver and losing the gold is Dark Samus, who wins second place convincingly with 7 nicknames. However, Samus is going to take the top spot for the most nicknames throughout the series. If you've been paying attention though, you might remember that I said Samus has only 7 nicknames earlier in the broadcast, so you'd think she would be tied with Dark Samus. Well, remember those nicknames in the weird gray area I mentioned earlier in the episode? Well, that's the tiebreaker here. I save these nicknames because they're sort of hard to place. Basically, when playing Metroid Prime Hunters, any of the hunters that are NPCs are listed by their name, or at least a part of the name, followed by bot. For Samus, that name is Sambot. The reason this one is weird is because they aren't actually called that anywhere in the universe itself, but it's still in a canon game, so it kind of counts, but also kind of doesn't. Because of this conundrum with the bot nickname being in a sort of void space, I'm going to count it as a half of a nickname, giving Samus the edge over her dark doppelganger, 7.5 to 7. Of course, this means the rest of the hunters get half a nickname, so don't worry, Silex is still below the poverty line.